Most beginners fail at astral projection not because they lack potential, but because they misunderstand the doorway. They try to force an exit before learning how to stand still in their own mind, and the truth is that the most powerful pre-astral exercise is not dramatic, not mystical, not filled with complicated rituals. It is a disciplined act of controlled visualization that retrains the brain to separate awareness from physical sensation, and it begins in the quietest possible way. Imagine lying on your back in a dim room where the air feels still and heavy, your phone turned off, your breathing slow but natural, not exaggerated, not theatrical. You are not trying to escape your body yet, you are trying to understand it. The exercise is deceptively simple. You construct, in precise sensory detail, a familiar room in your mind, ideally your own bedroom, but you build it from memory without moving a single muscle. You don't glance around physically to check, you don't adjust your pillow, you don't scratch an itch, you commit to stillness. And then, slowly, you begin assembling the mental replica. First, the walls. What color are they exactly? Not generally, but precisely. Where does the light hit during the day? Where does the shadow fall near the corner? Beginners often rush this part, and that's why they fail. Visualization is not daydreaming. Daydreaming drifts. This exercise demands control. You mentally place the door in its exact position, you visualize the handle, the texture of the paint, the slight imperfection near the hinge. Then the window. The curtains. The faint reflection on the glass. You are training your brain to generate a stable internal environment while your physical body remains motionless, and that stability is the bridge. Psychologically, what you're doing is shifting dominance from sensory input to internally generated imagery. The brain regions that process imagination and spatial awareness begin to synchronize with the ones that normally process real perception, and when done correctly, the imagined room starts to feel less like fantasy and more like presence. This is where beginners usually panic, because at some point, the boundary blurs. Your physical body feels heavy, maybe distant. Your imagined room feels strangely close. You may feel a subtle vibration, a shift in balance, like you're standing without moving. That's not magic, that's your proprioceptive system recalibrating in the absence of physical feedback. And this is why the exercise works so effectively for beginners. It's not about forcing separation, it's about transferring perspective. Once the room is fully constructed in your mind, you do something critical. You imagine yourself standing inside it. Not floating yet. Not flying. Just standing beside your bed. You look down at where your body would be lying. You do not try to see it clearly, you simply assume it is there. The power of this assumption is profound because the brain responds to internally consistent scenarios with physiological reactions. Heart rate may change slightly, breath may deepen, and the sense of I begins to relocate. The more detail you add, the faint hum of distant traffic outside, the texture of the carpet under your imagined feet, the slight coolness of the air near the door, the more your awareness invests in the mental construct. This is where logical analysis becomes important. Astral projection, whether interpreted spiritually or psychologically, relies on dissociation from physical sensory dominance, and dissociation is safer and more controllable when gradual. Beginners who attempt sudden exits often experience fear spikes, hypnagogic hallucinations they can't control, or jerking awakenings that discourage them. But when you gently relocate awareness through structured visualization, fear decreases because the mind feels oriented. You are not falling into the unknown, you are stepping into a familiar map. Now comes the subtle turning point in the exercise. Once you feel stable inside the imagined room, you begin to move, but slowly. You walk toward the door. You reach for the handle. And you focus intensely on the sensation of movement without allowing your physical body to twitch. This trains motor imagery pathways in the brain, the same neural circuits used when athletes mentally rehearse movements to improve performance. Research in cognitive psychology shows that imagined movement activates similar neural networks as actual movement, and when your physical body is deeply relaxed, this imagined motion can create the sensation of separation. Beginners often report that the door feels unusually vivid at this stage, almost hyperreal, as if the mind has sharpened its resolution. That vividness is a sign of immersion. You open the door slowly. You do not rush. You step into the hallway or into an environment of your choosing, but keep it simple. Complex fantasy environments can destabilize focus. The best choice for beginners is familiarity because the brain anchors better to known spatial layouts. As you move farther from the imagined body on the bed, you may notice that your awareness feels lighter, your breathing almost automatic, and the physical sensations of the real body fading into the background. Sometimes there is a mild buzzing, sometimes a wave-like sensation through the chest or head. The key is emotional neutrality. Fear snaps you back. Excitement snaps you back. Calm curiosity keeps you there. The reason this visualization exercise works better than random techniques is because it respects the architecture of the human mind. It leverages spatial memory, motor imagery, and sensory reconstruction in a coordinated way. It avoids the common beginner mistake of chasing dramatic sensations. Instead, it cultivates internal consistency. And consistency creates stability. Over time, as you repeat this exercise nightly, something shifts. The imagined room begins to assemble faster. The transition from lying in bed to standing beside it becomes smoother. You may reach a point where the mental scene feels so stable that it spontaneously continues without conscious effort. That's when many beginners experience what they interpret as a full projection. The scene gains autonomy, perspective shifts naturally, and awareness feels detached from the physical body. But even if one interprets the experience purely psychologically, the benefits are real. Practicing this visualization strengthens focus, reduces sleep anxiety, increases emotional regulation, and improves dream recall. There are real-world consequences to this discipline. Patience increases, impulsive thinking decreases, and the fear of altered states diminishes because you've learned how to enter them deliberately. The most important rule of this exercise is repetition without desperation. Beginners sabotage themselves by expecting immediate results. The brain needs conditioning. Just as muscles require progressive overload, awareness requires progressive detachment. Some nights you will only build half the room before drifting into sleep. That's fine. Sleep itself reinforces imagery processing. Other nights you'll feel strong vibrations and lose them because you reacted emotionally. That's part of the learning curve. The goal is not dramatic exit, it's mastery of internal relocation. And there's something quietly powerful about that, realizing that awareness is flexible, that perspective is not fixed inside the skull but can be repositioned through disciplined imagination. When practiced consistently, this simple pre-astral visualization becomes less of an exercise and more of a doorway, not because it guarantees supernatural travel, but because it teaches you how to inhabit your own mind with precision. In a world that constantly pulls your attention outward through screens, noise, and urgency, learning to construct and stabilize an inner environment is a radical act. It builds mental architecture strong enough to support extraordinary states. And whether one interprets the final experience as astral projection, lucid dissociation, or advanced visualization, the transformation is undeniable. You become less reactive to fear, more aware of subtle sensations, and more confident in navigating altered consciousness. The doorway was never outside you. It was always in the disciplined act of seeing clearly with your eyes closed, of standing in a room that exists only in thought, and discovering that awareness, when trained patiently, can feel astonishingly free.